What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Lukey here. So in this one I'm going to give you a little run through on how you can make your pads a little bit more interesting and kind of keep them moving and evolving throughout the track, and then they also help with the other elements in the track as well. So if you like them little dreamy bits in your music or on your build-ups and your breakdowns, you like having pads in there, or if you make stuff like minimal micro house things that have a lot of pads, this is a good little trick you can use. It's not really a technique, it's just something that I do, but I think it'll be a useful video for you to have a look at and try out in your own productions. So this is a tune that I made, I must have made it in 2020 or 2021. It's not even out yet. It's coming out on the end of the year, at the end of the year, on a label from Brooklyn in New York called Hack the Planet. So it's being distributed by Subwax, so I'm hoping it'll be out in the next couple of months. But I have pads running through this whole track and they're constantly moving and changing, and they help my other elements as well, because when you have two sounds, say if you have a bass line that's just one note for like one bar, so there's not much movement in it, it's just like one note, and then you have a pad or a chord or something like that that's a little bit longer, it might be 8 bars and it's changing a little bit, it also affects the bass line because the tone of the pad or the synth I'm using will affect the tone of the bass. There's a musical definition for it, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but basically when you have one sound affecting the tone of another sound. And yeah, this does that for me in this track, and it kind of just brings the whole thing together. Like when I remove the pads and the atmosphere, it just sounds very dry. So I'm just going to give you a listen to the pads, and I'll cut through the track a little bit, show you little bits of it, and then I'll go through it bit by bit what I done, and then I will show you how you can do it in Ableton yourself, whether you're using samples or whether you're using VST, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to press play now, I'll shut up talking and let you have a quick listen. I'm going to move on to the bass. I heard it now. I hear that pad open. And then we have this synth. And then I also have this little scene here. This is another new pad and another synth coming in. Right, I'll show you the build up and the drop towards the end. So I'm just gonna go through the pads. So I have these 3 synths, 3 pads running through the whole track, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing here is inside the synth. So there's a little bit of processing obviously after, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing is inside the synth. But I'm gonna show you how you can do it with Ableton. regardless of what you're using. So I have 3 layers of pads, so like they're all they're not really competing for frequencies. Like, so one's on the lower end of the spectrum, one's in the mid range, and then one's kind of on the higher end. But they're not really too high up there. They're not really battling for frequency ranges. But I'm gonna play them in solo now, just all the pads, and just show you what was going on. So I'm actually gonna put these in a group because I recorded a video yesterday, and when I finished the video, I realised that when I had the pad solo, you couldn't really hear them over my voice. Well, you couldn't hear them well, so I'm just gonna put them in a group, just while they're on solo, and just crank it up a little bit so you can hear what's going on a little bit better. So. You can hear the little tones coming through, and the filter opening and closing. And that's moving like that through the whole track, so it keeps the track interesting, like the bass interesting on the rest of the synths, and it changes the tone of them a little bit. So what I'm doing here, I'll show you the synths I'm using. I'm using the CS80 from Arturia. That's a lovely sound. And then I have Modular from Arturia. These are the old ones as well, the old bundle. And I have BIT from Rob Pappin. I actually haven't used this in years, but so I'm gonna solo them, and then I'm gonna show you what I've done in each one. So I didn't really do much on 2 of them, and then one of them. So this is the first one. Very simple, just 4 notes, bit of reverb, delay, and an auto filter. I probably didn't even need that, but it's there now. So, and then this one comes in, and on this one the filter is opening and closing with the LFO inside the synth. So I'll show you how you can do that very easily in a minute. And that's just a chord, 2 chords running 4 bars each, so 8 bars in total. And then this is the last layer. This is more of a lower frequency, still kind of in the mid-range, but both of them are kind of around the same, and this one's a little bit higher. That's fairly simple. Well, you can hear a little bit of movement in it, but nothing too drastic. So together, so if you want to do this, I'm gonna give you an example. So if you just have a normal pad sound, just as your layer, your first layer, and your bass to this, you can just leave that. And then if you want to open up a new synth or a new sample, then go to get an LFO. So go to your audio effects and go to modulators and LFO. So I could map this to the filter in the synth, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'll do that in a minute. For the moment, I'm just going to use a normal auto filter, because most people with Ableton will have these 2 things, so everyone will be able to do this. So I'm going to map this to my frequency. Now I can see, look, it's running like mad, so I'm going to play it now. I don't want that. See, it's at 0 to 100%, so that means it's opening and closing fully. I don't want it opening and closing fully. I only want it opening and closing it around 1k. So I want to put this starting here, and then I want to put this down a little bit. Then I want to put the rate down to slow it down, and then I'll take the depth off a little bit and the offset. Just mess around with that. And then I'll put the jitter up just so it's a little bit more humanized. It's like I have a shaky hand. Uh, so you can see how it's moving now. Right, and to make it a little bit more interesting, I might add another one. So I'm gonna add modulator. I'm gonna add another LFO. This time I'm gonna map this to the resonance. Right, that's going too mad again. So I only want a touch like that maybe, and then I don't want it going fully down. So I want it like, and I want the rate slower. Smoothness up. A little bit more resonance, so you can hear that. Now I can't really, there's not too much going on, but I'll show you the rest of the elements. Probably a little bit too much resonance. And I could also map it, so just for example I'll show you, I can also map it to anything in the synth. So I'll just map it to the filter again just for the tutorial. So I'll go control map, and then I'll go control M, and then I'll select the cut off. So now look, the cut off's moving like mad. And the same again, I don't want too much. So let me see. Now you'll hear it now. I want to solo it. You can hear the way that's moving like fuck. Right, so you can just do that with 2 or 3 synths, and or 2 even. Just have one that doesn't even have to be moving, and then you can have one that is moving, and this will help a lot. And then you can also, to make it a little bit more random, which I haven't done in this track, but I have done it in another track, and I just wanted to show you this one because this was a good example. But if you have, see the way all my loop lengths, they're all even numbers, like 4 bars, 2 bars, 8 bars, whatever. If you have 1 or 2 synths that's uneven numbers, like 7 or 11 or 5, and just have one note just going in, like maybe with a slow attack or something like that, over time that will start overlapping the other ones. So you'll have like a new sequence coming in, and things will happen when you're not expecting it. So I'll just duplicate this and just show you for example. Come on. So if I made this 7, and then I pull it across, look, you can even just see on the screen, I'll just put in one note just because it looks a little bit messy. So just say if I go like that, look, over time you can see where it's not hitting in the same spot, so you're gonna get this random buzz going on, and you're gonna have little sequences happening that you're not expecting, and that's called a polyrhythm. I have a video on that it's one of my earlier videos, and I've done it on drums. So it's like just random sequences, uneven numbers, and they start overlapping each other, and things happen that you're not expecting, and it's a good little trick. It's especially good at pads because it keeps your track moving basically, and it's always evolving. You feel like there's something new happening all the time, and it just gives you that random effect. So see, there's a lot of movement in the filter which you don't need. I already have it going on in modular. I just wanted to show you how you can do it inside. See, I'm going to delete these because it's too high now. Delete that now. Back to the normal. The filter on this is cut set, not the way it was, yeah. It's more like, you know. So I have that going through the whole track, and if I remove it, look how boring the track sounds. It's still nice, But now, before we wrap it up, I'll just show you the build up and the drop. So we'll leave it there. That's one of me little electro numbers from a couple of years ago, and I used to make a lot of stuff like this, and I still do sometimes. I used a lot of hardware as well. I used the Electrobe, the old Electrobe. You can hear the drums. All these sounds are from the Electrobe. So yeah, we'll leave it there, folks. Let me know what you want to see in future videos. If you can like, comment and subscribe, it'll help me and the channel a lot. There's also a pack in the description. Thanks everyone who got it so far. I'm getting great feedback on it, so I'm very happy to hear that. If you want to get the pack, the link's in the description, and there's also a free pack there as well. If you haven't got that already, I recommend getting it. Even if you do buy the other pack, still get the free pack as well, because it's a nice one. There's a lot of good stuff inside it. And yeah, if you buy the full Universe production suite that has every sample, you get 50% off for life. So when I add new packs, you'll have 50% off. I'm gonna be making a new season soon with different sounds and a few other little things that I have planned. So yeah, you'll get a discount code that'll have 50% off for life. So again, thanks for watching everyone, appreciate it, and as always, tell me what you want to see and I'll try to get it done as quick as possible.